Bandits kill 13 worshippers in Kaduna mosque attack. Plateau farmers celebrate bumper potato harvest as prices crash. Photographers showcase talent, livelihood on World Photography Day. On the foreign scene, UN warns of worsening crisis in South Sudan as peace process falters. Hello, good evening and welcome to News Update on Trust TV. I am Fatima Ahmed Musa. Thank you so much for joining us. And now we start on a sad note. The Kaduna State government has beefed up security following a tragic bandit attack that killed 13 worshippers in a mosque on Tuesday at the Malumfashi local government area of the state. Reports say the bandits who were on reprisal attack shot at the worshippers at Ungwam Mantau community, leaving 13 dead. Reports say the State Commissioner for Internal Security and Home Affairs, Nasir Muazu, told journalists on Tuesday that the state government announced immediate security reinforcement and support measures following a tragic incident. According to him, the incident occurred when criminal elements launched a reprisal attack on the community. Now, the recent attack on communities in Matazu local government area of Kaduna State, where dozens have been killed and thousands displaced, has continued to generate widespread concern. The latest is from the lawmaker representing Matazu at the Kaduna State House of Assembly, Ibrahim Umar Diko, who has decried the persistent insecurity bedeviling the area. He urged both the state and federal government to intensify efforts in securing the state and the country at large. The report.
In an exclusive interview with Trust TV News in Kaduna, the Matazu lawmaker, who also serves as chief whip of the assembly, described the security situation in his constituency as horrific, while acknowledging that the government is handling the escalating insecurity with more seriousness than before. The lawmaker stressed that the tempo must be sustained to allow displaced residents to safely return to their ancestral homes without fear of bandits' harassment or intimidation. Currently, residents of Karadua, Gorjo, Sayaya, Disi, Runjing Idi, Mazoji A and B, and parts of Matazu B wards have been displaced, with only a few daring to remain behind. Diko, who earlier raised his concerns on the floor of the assembly, appeals to relevant authorities to rescue Matazu residents from the grip of bandits.
We have been telling the government, we have resolved it, put as a resolution. As a lawmaker, we have our limitations. We represent the people of the community, and what affects the community since long voice here, representing the community. I have to come out, I have to voice it through the channel, which is the channel, the State Assembly, which I represent.
On peace talks with the bandits, Diko clarified that while he is not opposed to negotiations, caution must be applied due to the insincerity often displayed by the criminal groups. He explained that bandits typically agree to peace deals only after exhausting one area, using the opportunity to regroup and expand into new territories.
It's a village that comprises of over 1,000 people. But if you go now I'm talking to you, as I'm talking to you, go now, I don't think you will find more than 10 houses that are occupied by the everybody has built the environment, they have built the village. Not to talk of the other communities surrounding the Sahaya. That's why we don't even talk about it. Because they flew since over 1 month. You can't find anybody in that place.
Diko described this trend as completely unacceptable and urged security agencies to resist such manipulations. He insisted that genuine peace can only be achieved if the bandits surrender their weapons unconditionally. He warned that the displacement if not urgently addressed, could breed more criminality and worsen insecurity in the region. Abdullahi Ismayamadi, Trust Television News, Katsina.
Now joining us via phone from Katsina is Trust TV's Abdullahi Yamadi to give us an update. Thank you so much, Abdullahi Yamadi, for joining us this evening.
Thank you.
All right, so we have seen the sad situation. What more have we learned about the casualty figures since the early morning attack, and what are the authorities doing about it?
Well, the casualty figures are conflicting because, according to reports from the affected community, that is Ngwere Mountain, and the Karchi in Malumfashi local government, 17 people were reported killed, but government, from the government angle, according to a release from the office of the Commissioner for Internal Security and Home Affairs, suggests that 13 people were killed. And then later this evening, police reports indicate that 10 people were killed, while about 8 have been hospitalized, and houses were set ablaze. And of course, the residents of the community put it that 65 people, including women and children, have been abducted from the community. And of course, the report suggests that it was a reprisal attack because earlier, I think about 2 days ago, the resident of Mantau ambushed some bandits returning from their operation, where they killed a number of them, rescued some kidnapped victims, and recovered 3 motorcycles and 2 AK-47 rifles in the last 2 days. And I think that was the reason why the bandits attacked this community, according to some reports. There are also reports of some protests in Malumfashi town this evening, but the protesters have been dispatched, according to the security reports. And of course, the security presence, especially in and around the affected community, as the report suggested, because special security forces have been deployed to the area to restore law and order, rather to restore peace.
All right, so is Malumfashi one of the high-risk areas dealing with insecurity in Katsina, and what can you tell us about the unusualness of this attack?
Well, this is one of the most deadliest attacks from Malumfashi in recent times, because the scores of attacks, especially in remote communities of Malumfashi local government, where a lot of them have reported some attacks in recent times. And of course, these reports indicate that some people have been killed, and many of the communities have been displaced. And of course, these killings and of course this displacement of communities has resulted in a very serious humanitarian crisis. You can see people hanging around filling stations and other public places in Malumfashi town, and of course in Funtua town, which are the major towns in the zone. So it is a worrisome situation, and of course, this evening the state government has released a statement by the acting governor, Madam Farukla Jobi, according to the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the federal government to intervene immediately to restore peace in Kaduna by the deployment of special security forces, various strategic places, especially among the frontline local government areas of Kaduna State, where these killings are ongoing day in, day out.
All right. Thank you so much, Abdullah Yamadi, for your contribution this evening. In case we'll keep in touch with you in case of any update.
Okay, thank you so much, sincerely.
Thank you so much. Now, the Kaduna State Police Command has arrested 13 suspected cattle rustlers and recovered 27 rustled cattle in the major breakthrough against banditry in the state. The arrests were made on Sunday, August 17, 2025, following credible intelligence received by the divisional police officer of the Tollgate Division. According to a statement by the police public relations officer of the command, DSP Mansour Hassan, an operation which followed an intelligence report led to the recovery of 3 vehicles transporting the rustled cattle. Hassan said one of the suspects confessed to receiving stolen cattle from a notorious bandit known as Lagu, who is currently on the police wanted list. He also admitted to having received over 50 rustled cows from one Abdullahi of Rijana, who is also said to be on the run. And now 5 men accused of masterminding the 2022 Owo Catholic Church attack that killed over 40 worshippers have applied for bail. The defendant, Idris Abdul Malik Omeza, Al-Qasim Idris, Jamil Abdul Malik, Abdullahim Idris, and Momo Otoho Abubakar are facing a 9-count terrorism charge before the Federal High Court. Prosecutors allege that the men are members of Al-Shabaab cell in Kogi State and were behind the deadly assault on St. Francis Catholic Church in Ondo State, carried out with explosives and assault rifles. At Tuesday's hearing, Justice Emeka Nwete granted the federal government's request to shield the identities of witnesses, citing security concerns. Defense lawyers, however, urged the court to grant accused bail, insisting they will provide credible sureties and will not evade trial. The prosecution opposed, warning that the suspect posed a flight risk. The court has, however, fixed September 10th to rule on the bail application. And now no fewer than 9 people have been reportedly killed as a result of bloody rift between the people of Ibem Ekpa Omaka and the people of Iyemagu, both in Iko local government area of Ebonyi State. In the ensuing crisis, many houses, economic trees, and other properties were burnt. The State Police Public Relations Officer, SP Joshua Okandu, who confirmed the incident, which he blamed on lingering dispute between the warring communities, however, decried the scale of destruction. The PPRO said the police had met with stakeholders of the affected communities for peaceful resolution of the crisis prior to the attack. He promised to reach out to the stakeholders again, including the incumbent Speaker of the Ebonyi State House of Assembly, Moses Ije Odunwa, to forestall a further loss of lives and properties. And now the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has scheduled a supplementary election for Kaura Namuda South constituency in Zamfara State to hold on Thursday, August 21st. The announcement was made by the state resident electoral commissioner Mahmouda Isa during a stakeholders meeting in Gusau ahead of the exercise. Isa assured political parties and voters that adequate measures have been put in place to ensure a smooth and credible poll. The supplementary election follows the earlier declaration of the constituency's by-election as inconclusive by the returning officer, Professor Lawal Saadu of the Federal University Gusau. He explained that the margin between the leading party and the runner-up was less than the number of permanent voter cards PBCs collected in polling units where voting was cancelled, necessitating the supplementary poll. Meanwhile, the Independent National Electoral Commission has announced plans to present certificate of return to winners of the 16 by-elections and 2 court order reruns held across the country on Saturday, August 16th. INEC's National Commissioner Sam Olumeku, in a statement on Tuesday, said successful candidates from 2 senatorial districts and 5 federal constituencies will receive their certificates on Thursday, August 21st at the Commission's headquarters in Abuja. Certificates for members-elect of State House of Assembly across 9 constituencies will be presented by President Electoral Commissioner on Friday, August 22nd at the State Office. However, the Kaura Namuda South State constituency election in Zamfara remains inconclusive following violence in 5 polling units affecting over 3,500 registered voters. INEC has fixed a supplementary election for Thursday, August 21st. Meanwhile, in court order reruns, Labour Party's Ngene Bright Emeka emerged winner in Enugu South 1 state constituency, while the APC's Ya Ugarba Gwarmai won the Gari Sanyawa State constituency in Kano State. Now, the African Democratic Congress, ADC, in Gombe State has expelled 4 members of the party over alleged anti-party activities and action deemed capable of causing division. Announcing the decision at the press briefing on Monday, the party's disciplinary arm said those affected include Nafiu Bala, who recently declared himself as the national chairman of the party. However, political analysts warn of possible internal crisis the action may cause as the party is preparing to unseat the ruling party in the coming 2027 general elections. Hassan Lawankoli has more.
At the Tuesday press briefing, the party chairman announced the dismissal of the affected executives. Among those expelled is Nafiu Bala, who recently declared himself the national chairman of the party. According to the party, the recommendation for his expulsion came from the Nasarawa Ward Disciplinary Committee, which found him guilty of working against the party and failing to appear before it to defend himself, despite being invited with 3 other officials.
The Nasarawa Ward Disciplinary Committee submitted its findings on the complaint against Mr. Nafiu Bala, who has been parading himself as the national chairman of the ADC, African Democratic Congress. Mr. Nafiu Bala was notified personally to appear and via a publication in the Nigerianews direct newspaper of 15 August 2025, but failed to attend. After considering the petition, the Ward Committee found him careful of grave anti-party activities and deliberately mispresentation of the party leadership. The State Executive Committee hereby ratifies the recommendation for his expulsion and has transmitted the resolution to the appropriate hierarchy organs.
According to Dr. Abdulkadir Sali of Political Science Department, since the ADC is trying to build a strong pillar for its party, dealing with indiscipline is paramount, as condoning such has been responsible for bringing down many political parties in Nigeria.
So therefore, I think it's a right move in the right direction to first make sure that there is an internal discipline, which many political parties are lacking in Nigeria. And that is the major cause of internal conflict within the party. And particularly, finally, at the end of it, you find a party split into 2, a faction, what we call a faction within a party. So I think it's a good move to show that they are very serious, and also to serve as deterrent to other branches of the party, that if you misbehave, it's not going to be business as usual. We are going to expel any, a rude member that is not ready to comply with the rules and regulation of the party. I think they should maintain discipline, and this is commendable and should be maintained, because even in politics there is morality, there is discipline, which makes it to be very strong.
With these expulsions, the ADC leadership in Gombe says it hopes to send a strong message that it will not tolerate any form of indiscipline that threatens the party's stability. Hassan Lawankoli, Trust TV News, Gombe.
Now, potato farmers in Plateau State are celebrating a bumper harvest this rainy season. However, the glut in supply has triggered a sharp drop in prices, with a 50 kg bag now selling for between 30,000 and 40,000, depending on the size. At the Dankali market in Jos, traders say patronage has increased as more buyers troop in to take advantage of the low prices. Ado Musa completes this report.
Farmers across producing communities in the state say the harvest has yielded sizable tubers in large quantities. However, the fall in price has left them with mixed feelings, while many buyers welcome the development, saying the crop is now more affordable. Farmers lament that they are compelled to sell at low prices due to the absence of storage facilities.
I've bought some day before yesterday to send to Lagos, but I feel here is more cheaper because the one I bought the last time was 2,500. But this one is 2,000.
Price of the Irish is affordable for the for a common man, not like before or like 2 years back, because someone cannot be able to afford it.
Some farmers like Amina Matthew and Philomena Maren say the record harvest is encouraging, but the lack of modern preservation method continues to undermine their profits.
This is good this year. We are worried, but we don't know how to do because we cannot store it because of the season. It's the rainy season on.
This thing we can't keep it. If Irish stay for our hand, now it's 1 week or 2 weeks.
Victoria Bulus, a farmer and trader, explained that although the harvest has been bountiful, potato farming still faces several challenges, ranging from poor storage to limited government support.
Before last year, Irish potatoes, there was a big challenges of diseases destroying the Irish in the farm. But this year, we have a large quantity of Irish potatoes in big sizes that the farmers are able to get due to the rainfall that came this time. It came very late, and so the diseases is not able to destroy the Irish potatoes in the farm. So we really want the government to help us to bring more farm implements, tools for the farmers. We pray that government will even come to the farmers' aid to help them in terms of securities.
An economist, Dr. Isa Abdullahi of the Federal University Kashere, attributes the price crash to the forces of supply and demand, stressing that overproduction without proper storage and market expansion leads to the waste and reduced value for farmers.
One, there is the effect of the importation of food by the federal government of Nigeria. The federal government has allowed or has opened the borders of Nigeria so that food processors will import raw materials for their production. This effect has that serious connection with the falling and with the crash in the prices of Irish potato, because it's not necessary it's not compulsory to eat Irish. If you have price of rice simple, easy to afford, one can just go and buy rice. But then if people keep on buying rice, the price of Irish potato definitely will come down because no buyers. People will like to look at what they will eat to survive. Number two is the seasonal variation in the prices. Definitely, when this is the harvest season of Irish potato, around July, August, September in Nigeria, this is the peak point of production and harvest of Irish potato. Therefore, there is much supply of it into the market. But then, economically, again, we look at economy to be balanced. If you must assess the economy objectively, you must look at the equilibrium level of our buyers and sellers, where the price will be good for the buyer and it will be good for the seller.
The farmers are calling on authorities to provide storage facilities and subsidize farming inputs to make potato production more profitable and sustainable. Ado Musa, Trust TV News.
Now, as the nation's economic reforms continue to impact livelihoods through surging prices of goods and services, private sector workers in the country have been urged to report employers who fail to pay the federal government-approved minimum wage. This is to ensure that workers in that sector are able to meet basic needs in line as encapsulated in the wage document. The Director General of the Nigerian Employers Consultative Association, Adewale Smart Oyerinde, disclosed this while speaking exclusively to Trust TV's Noel Sampson. Here's the report.
For many Nigerians in the private sector, the struggle to earn a decent wage is an everyday reality. While the minimum wage law exists on paper, enforcement often feels like a distant dream for workers trying to survive in today's economy. But there's a message of hope, as the Director General of the Nigerian Employers Consultative Association, NECA, Adewale Smith Oyorinde, says employers no longer have to suffer in silence.
The Minimum Wage Act itself has provisions that gives the employee the right to escalate. Any employee that is not being paid the minimum wage and is collecting it is a co-conspirator. It's basically a co-conspirator. The law gives the employee the right to escalate, to approach the National Industrial Court, or worst case scenario, approach the organized labor to that, look, this I'm not being paid the minimum wage. While we understand that the law of demand and supply will always play its role as per so many people pursuing very little jobs, but the cap we have created as per minimum wage, I think it was a collective decision between employers, workers, and government. So we expect all employers to abide by that minimum wage law. It's the law.
Oyorinde said the need to use advocacy to promote the interests of the private sector workers necessitated the signing of a Memorandum of Understanding, MOU signing, between NECA and the Civil Society Legislative Advocacy Center, CISLAC. He emphasized the importance of advocacy, noting that it plays a crucial role in empowering individuals and communities by ensuring their voices are heard, their rights protected, and their needs addressed.
There are a lot of advocacy efforts that we are going to initiate. Economic advocacy, fair tax regime, fair regulatory environment, fair legislative engagement, protection of workers themselves, and protection of the informal sector. So that collaboration will strengthen our capacity to advocate on both sides. And then once we draw those issues to government, we make policy recommendations, share alternative policy recommendations. We believe government will listen more, especially when those recommendations are research-driven.
We noted that there are quite a number of policy issues that require advocacy, for the protection of workers, for the ease of doing business, for enhanced, productivity, and helping to drive the economy. And therefore, NECA works in this area, and we believe that we can synergize, we can work together to ensure that we have more enabling policies that can help, business strive.
The MOU provides a framework to enhance public policy formulation and implementation through evidence-based research and advocacy, promote decent work and uphold labor's rights for a fair and productive workforce, as well as foster responsible business conduct and ethical corporate practices, among other benefits. Noel Samson, Trust TV News, Abuja.
And now we'll move on to more stories. Nigerian parents have continued to juggle time, finances, and different strategies to keep their children engaged, especially through summer classes organized by school proprietors. But the rising economic hardship, particularly the high cost of transportation, has emerged as a major challenge during the long holiday. Trust TV's Adamu Imam reports on how parents in Bauchi State are coping with these challenges in this holiday season.
Parents in Bauchi State say the challenges of organizing summer school stem not only from financial strain, but also from what they describe as a lack of commitment and passion for children's education in some quarters. They add that the current economic reality in Nigeria has made it even harder to engage children in constructive activities, while some parents now prioritize basic needs over extracurricular activities or summer classes. They are urging organizers to consider more affordable alternatives.
Let them to make it in affordable price that even the poor people, they can bring their children to get that kind of summer classes.
They can go out and they will be roaming around. You don't even know what your child is up to. But if you send your child to a summer lesson, even if it is a 2-3 hours, at least the child learns something.
Have been lost in the course of time. So there is need for the syllabus to be covered. And we understand the need for the summer lessons.
On the other hand, school proprietors highlight the benefit of the program, saying summer classes help boost children's morale and academic performance. Actually, we struggle with students coming late, and despite our efforts in organizing such classes to assist them, the challenge persists. We also understand the current economic realities, which more often than not create serious setbacks.
We are suffering from some parents that they are asking us that they are telling us that the money that we are collecting is too much, but the money is not too much considering the knowledge that we are imparting to them.
The problem they are actually telling us is the aspect of paying of transportation. The school is far. Those who are coming all the way from Yelwa will definitely have to complain. We tried our best to see that we provide the school bus, and it was unable to. We were unable to see that we provided that because the number was not there.
Some students also shared their experiences and spoke on the various activities they take part in during summer classes.
Lesson, especially during math classes, there are some things I don't understand, but as a result of the summer lesson, I understand more about mathematics, English, and all that subject they teach us in summer lesson.
You learn something special that you can use in your next school, your next class.
Some of the things that is so difficult, you understand it most. Like when they resume school now, now we not attend the lesson. When they resume school, it will be so hard for you to understand. But this lesson came so great, and you understand things easily.
Many observers believe that both parents and teachers are grappling with the same economic challenges, but still acknowledge the positive impact of summer class initiatives. Adam Imam, Trust TV News, Bauchi.
The Executive Secretary of Tertiary Education Trust Fund, TET Fund, Sonny Echono, says tackling the issue of over 20 million out-of-school children in Nigeria cannot simply be addressed by building more classrooms. Echono has therefore identified technology-driven learning as the more effective and necessary solution to the menace. Here's the report.
Speaking at the workshop on Blackboard and terrace adoption in Abuja, Echono pointed out that digital platforms and artificial intelligence enable mass literacy by allowing students nationwide to learn simultaneously, expanding access to education. He criticized the underutilization of government-funded digital infrastructure in educational institutions, referring to it as a classic definition of waste.
Because it's our out-of-school children thing, we cannot solve it through classrooms. That's the truth. You're not discussing 20 million people. How many classrooms can you build? What is the capacity of each classroom? Then you are not going to need that number of teachers. The cost of administration of it, it's impossible. The only way is technology. Even mass literacy, the easiest way is technology. You put it out there, as we are doing here now, whether it's in Sokoto, Port Harcourt, Ilorin, everywhere, they can simultaneously participate. And there will be there is no issue of numbers. It's like when we broadcast our fake news on social media, before you know it, everybody has heard about it. It's the same way you can also share knowledge.
Supporting this view, TET Fund's Director of ICT, Joseph Odo, noted that ongoing stakeholder engagements across Nigeria's 6 geopolitical zones aim to boost digital adoption and improve teaching, research, and learning standards in tertiary institutions.
Terrace is evolving to become an educational lifestyle for us, whether we are an administrator, whether we are students, or we are lecturers, or even for government planning. So tomorrow we will have also a very important part of this gathering and this interactive session, which will deal with the future of our thesis digitization project.
Meanwhile, the Executive Secretary, Architect Echono, has called for the cultivation of a stronger IT culture within tertiary institutions, arguing that embracing technology can reduce costs, increase access to education, and enhance Nigeria's competitiveness globally.
Now, the Federal Capital Territory FCT Minister Nyesom Wike has commissioned the second phase of the Lower Usman Dam project in Oshafa, Bwari Area Council. The project is designed to boost water supply across Abuja and its surrounding communities. Habibat Ajayi completes this report.
The newly commissioned Phase 2 of the Lower Usman Dam project is expected to significantly enhance water distribution to residents of the Federal Capital Territory. In addition to the dam expansion, a 1.2 megawatt solar power plant will also be commissioned. The plant is designed to power the water treatment facility and, where possible, supply surplus electricity to the national grid. The acting executive director of the Federal Capital Development Authority, Richard Dauda, gave an overview of the projects.
The combined capacity of the Lower Usman Dam treatment plants, that is the phase 1, 2, 3, and 4 plants, is 30,000 cubic meters per hour. The phase 1 was constructed and commenced operation in 1987 with 5,000 cubic meters per hour capacity. The phase 2 was constructed and commenced operation in year 2000. It also has 5,000 cubic meter capacity per hour. Phases 3 and 4, each of them has 10,000 cubic meters per hour capacity and were completed in year 2014 and have been in operation since then.
The contractor, represented by Samuel Humma of SCC, assured that the project was executed to the highest standards of quality and durability.
This occasion, we are pleased to announce that works have already commenced on the rehabilitation of phases 1, 3, and 4 of the Usuma Dam water treatment plant. We are eager to bring the same level of dedication and expertise to these upcoming phases, further strengthening the water infrastructure of the FCT.
Minister Wike, meanwhile, dismissed reports alleging a 10 billion naira debt owed to local contractors for completed projects, stressing that no form of blackmail would derail his administration's development agenda.
You see, the problem in this country is that when you want to fight corruption, corruption will fight you back. And it's corruption that is fighting back. And we are going to defeat corruption. I'll be on channel politics today. I'll be there tonight. And I'll let Nigerians know that the pain of our problem is indiscipline. I came on board with the Minister of State. Complaints that people are being owed local contractors, indigenous contractors. 5 billion, 8 billion being paid. I said, who awarded these contracts? Do you know what happens? Civil servants stay in their offices. Award contract 15 million. 10 million, 20 million, without the minister knowing. And then you will be a minister sitting in the office. And people will tell you that you are owing 15 billion naira when you don't know when it was awarded. Certainly it will not happen.
He also accused some civil servants of frustrating development efforts in the FCT, but maintained that his commitment to transforming the capital city remains firm. Habibat Ajayi, Trust TV News, Abuja.
As the world marks World Photography Day, photographers in Jigawa State took to the street of Dutse, the state capital, in colorful celebration of the art. The event brought together professionals and budding talents from across all 27 local government areas, showcasing photography not only as a passion but also as a thriving source of livelihood. The report.
The celebration was organized by the Office of the Special Assistant to the Governor on Photography and Publication, Ismail Muhammad Dutse. He explained that the day was dedicated to promoting the value of photography in society and encouraging more young people to embrace it as a profession.
This is the first time in Jigawa State that the governor has appointed a special assistant on photography, and we feel recognized. Even local government chairmen are now doing the same. At least we the youth are being employed. Before, we used old, outdated analog cameras, but now we have modern ones. We are happy with this improvement, and we are proud of our work.
The photographers later paid a courtesy visit to Governor Malam Umar Namadi at the government house. In his remarks, the governor praised their creativity and determination, acknowledging the vital role of photographers in documentation, storytelling, and cultural preservation. He particularly commended the large number of young people in the delegation, describing them as both an inspiration and a sign of hope for the future.
I want to use this opportunity to once congratulate all of you, the photographers in Jigawa State, for seeing this day and celebrating this day. I think it's very, very important. I think your initiative to celebrate this day is a testament that you are existing. Not only that you are existing, you stand to be professionals. And that will definitely send a message to everybody that there is an association called Photographers Association of Nigeria Jigawa State Branch.
Governor Namadi further assured the photographers of his administration's commitment to support and empower them, stressing that their work contributes significantly to youth development, innovation, and economic growth.
We are photographers. Many of us own companies. We feed our families and live through the photography business. And we also support others who earn a living under us in this profession.
The World Photography Day celebration in Jigawa went beyond cameras and lenses as it became a powerful statement of identity, unity, and opportunity for the state's vibrant community of photographers.
And now the United Nations Children's Fund, UNICEF, has called on Nigerians to actively engage in humanitarian service to help close the funding gap created by the recent cuts in U.S. assistance and other foreign aid, which has severely affected humanitarian operations across the country. Speaking during the commemoration of World Humanitarian Day in Maiduguri, UNICEF warned that the reduction in funding could force it to scale down its operations, leaving millions of children vulnerable to disease outbreaks, climate change, and attack by non-state armed groups. The agency added that the situation could further worsen displacement, food insecurity, and child malnutrition in the region. UNICEF's chief of Maiduguri Field Office, Francis Butichi, revealed that the agency has received only $95 million out of the $225 million budgeted for its 2025 humanitarian programs, leaving a shortfall of $160 million, while urging government partners and stakeholders to increase their support. Butichi also appealed to Nigerians to participate in local humanitarian efforts through donations, volunteering, and advocacy.
For instance, we have to make very difficult choices. We will be, normally we treat malnutrition for all under 5 children. Yeah. But if we don't get the required funding, we might have to make difficult choices, like to only target under 2 years. What will happen to the 3 to 5 years children? This is a very difficult decision to make.
Now, the Adamawa State government has commenced the 2026-2028 multi-year budget defense, reaffirming its commitment to fiscal prudence, transparency, and accountability in driving the state's development. Declaring the exercise open, the Commissioner for Budget and Economic Planning, Emmanuel Pidimso, said the budget goes beyond being a financial document, describing it as a strategic blueprint that translates the government's vision and policy objectives into tangible projects and services for the people of Adamawa State. He added that the multi-year recurrent budget deliberation will lay a solid foundation for the state's progress over the next 3 years. The permanent secretary in the Ministry of Information and Strategy, Solomon Kumangar explained that the budget defense is an integral part of the Fintri-led administration's process to guarantee transparency and accountability, guided by the philosophy that no one is left behind and nothing is left untouched.
The task before us is significant. The budget is more than just a financial document or figures. It is a strategic blueprint that translates Adamawa State government's vision and policy objectives into tangible projects and services for our citizens.
So this budget defense is part of a process of establishing a budget of fiscal responsibility, which the government anchored on its philosophy of nothing left behind, nothing left untouched. And that is why this morning all ministries, agencies and departments have come before the technical committee of the 2026 budget to come and present their budget estimates and proposals for defense, for clarification, and for ensuring that a transparent, realistic budget is placed finally before the Adamawa State House of Assembly.
The Director General of the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority, NCA, Captain Chris Najomo, has stated that henceforth passengers must switch off their phones before flight takeoff and landing. This was disclosed by the Director, Consumer Protection and Public Relations, Michael Achimogo, on his X handle on Tuesday. According to the directives, all airlines must amend their security programs to reflect this if different in their current programs, adding that no more airplane mode until regulations are reviewed to reflect evolving technological situations. The NCA announcement is coming on the heels of the recent unruly behavior by Ms. Comfort Emerson on Ibom Airline and Fuji music star Wasiu Ayinde, popularly known as Kwam One, on a value jet aircraft. Now in business, the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority has identified poor electricity supply as a major challenge stalling Nigeria's electric mobility transition. The agency also pointed to high cost of electric vehicles and limited infrastructure as key barriers. Speaking at a webinar organized by the Major Energy Marketers Association of Nigeria on the theme Accelerating Electric Mobility Adoption in Nigeria by Unlocking Downstream Potential, the Director of Operations, Distribution System, Storage and Retailing Infrastructure at NMDPRA, Mukaila Oseni, situated Nigeria's EV journey within a global context, referencing the International Energy Agency's forecast of 145 million electric vehicles worldwide by 2030. He said the barriers slowing EV adoption in Nigeria include high vehicle cost, limited charging infrastructure, unreliable grid electricity, and low public awareness. Oseni stressed that without urgent intervention, the country may struggle to keep pace with the global energy transition. Now away from Nigeria, the United Nations Assistant Secretary General for Africa, Martha Fobe, on Monday said security and humanitarian conditions in South Sudan were deteriorating. In a briefing to the Security Council, she said recent military offensive has resulted in deaths, displacement, and the destruction of civilian infrastructure. Bobe laments that there has been a continued erosion of the gains previously made in the peace process, including the trust and confidence built among the parties to the revitalization peace agreement. She said financing cuts are adding to the pressure, with only 28.5% of the 2025 humanitarian needs and response plan pledged. Over 9 million people need urgent humanitarian assistance, but the UN said aid workers face mounting risks, including attacks and administrative barriers. And now Russia has returned the bodies of 1,000 Ukrainian soldiers, including 5 who reportedly died while in captivity. Ukrainian's coordination headquarters for the treatment of prisoners of war confirmed the development in a statement on Tuesday. In return, Ukraine handed over the bodies of 19 Russian soldiers. The exchange of war dead has remained one of the few areas of cooperation between the two countries since Russia's invasion in February 2022. Officials say the latest repatriation followed agreements reached during talks in Istanbul. Kyiv says the process of identifying the fallen soldiers is now underway. Tens of thousands of troops have died on both sides of the conflict, though casualty figures are rarely published. Now it's time for us to join Kabir Lawan for more news on sport.
The Nigerian Women Football League, NWFL, has announced that the 2025 edition of the NWFL Championship will take place in Abia State, Southeast Nigeria from September 11th to 21st, 2025. The championship, which is second tier of Women's Football League in the country, continues the WFL's 2025 calendar following the successful of 2024 and 2025 Premiership Super 6 held earlier this year in Ikenne. Participating teams are expected to arrive in Abia on September 11th, with the official draws and pre-match meetings scheduled for the following day. Match day 1 will commence on September 13th, ushering in a series of fixtures that will continue until September 21st, with rest days provided between match days to ensure proper recovery for the players. The competition will serve as the pathway for clubs seeking promotion to the Premiership, with 4 promotion tickets available for the upcoming 2025 and 2026 season. All matches will be played at the Abriba Stadium in Umuahia Township Stadium, both in Abia State. Still on sport news, as Nnewi in Anambra State prepares to host round 2 of the 2025 Nigerian Beach Soccer League this month, the chairman of the State Beach Soccer Association, Victor Madubuko, is anticipating a great event. For the second season running, the state will be hosting the league after achieving success staging round 2 in year 2024. Anambra Beach Soccer Warriors, the host team of next round, is the only club in the league from the southeastern part of the country, a region comprising Abia, Anambra, Ebonyi, Enugu, and Imo states. Stakeholders say having a beach soccer team in the region can be challenging as well as rewarding. That's sport news. I am Kabir Lawan.
And with that, we have come to the end of News Hour on Trust TV. Do not forget to follow and catch us across all our social media platforms showing on your screen for more news, programs, and documentaries. I am Fatima Ahmed Musa from me and the crew. Thanks for watching.